quote. And right now, we do want to bring in an aviation expert to help weigh in on any insight and background as we continue our team coverage on this mid-air disaster here in our country.
Yeah, Guillaume Deramel is a pilot of both small planes and helicopters. He's an aviation expert, been flying for decades. Guillaume, you were the first person I thought of to call to give me some context, so thank you for joining us. And let us know, I mean, we all heard that air traffic control say to the helicopter pilot, do you see the other plane? So can you explain how the pilot might not have seen that passenger so close, or what it would have looked like in that moment?
Yeah, and thank you for having me on here. My heart goes out to the families. As a pilot, both heli and fixed wing, flying at night in very congested, airspace as DCA is, flying at 200 feet above the river, the helicopter, if pilots must have been very focused, primarily first on avoiding obstructions. That's probably why they were flying down the river and any obstacles there. It's hard to hear from the audio what they said, because they're operating with UHF radio, which you can't hear. You just hear the VHF side. But it appears that they gave confirmation that they had visual separation with the American Airlines flight. But people have to understand that there's multiple operations. They're using runway 1 and 33, I believe, both landing and departing on both runways. So it just makes it incredibly hard for the pilot to distinguish, which aircraft air traffic control is pointing out.
I think it's just like a bunch of lights that they're looking at.
Right, and they're trying to make sure, there's no obstructions and focusing on that light. That makes a lot of sense. But, does all this mean that the air traffic control should have given a different call or maybe made one sooner?
It's hard to tell. I mean, I think the investigation will definitely determine the timing and what have you. But I know that both air traffic control and the pilots are very saturated with tasks. Clearly, the tower controller was trying to coordinate arrivals and departures, and they have to assume when they give the clearance to the helicopter that that you have visual separation. The helicopter, Army helicopter, confirmed. We assume that he had visual separation with that United 5342, but clearly he did not. And it's hard you really can't put blame on either side.
Right.
But the aircraft crew does ultimately have responsibility when they accept that clearance, and they accept that they have the visual with the aircraft.
Well, I know there's so much more to talk to you about, and hopefully we'll get a chance to keep on about the day of, I know that there's staffing concerns with air traffic control as well. President Trump has just said live he wants to get to the bottom of it, but for now, Guillaume Deramel, expert in all things aviation, we just thank you for shedding some light and helping us to understand how something like this might happen.
I'm sorry for, again, to all the families, it's tragic news.
Thank you, Guillaume.
Thanks, Guillaume.
I know stories like this hits all of us, a